Hey everyone! It is another Uncanny Experience Instagram Live. And tonight we're going to be doing a live with a cosplay guest that we just announced today. They will be joining us soon. There we go.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry, I've never done a two-person live on here, so I wasn't sure how it worked.
That's how it works. I don't know if you would maybe want to move your camera a little bit because
Yeah,
there,
no,
there
that's
we go.
fine.
There we go. Hi. Thanks for joining
Hello.
us.
Thanks for
I
having me.
I'm so excited to do an Instagram live with you because you're so much fun to talk to, and
Thank you.
I love that you're a part of Uncanny because you are such a great person. And I know that every time I've either been around you or talked to you, especially like when inviting you to be a part of Uncanny, it was supposed to be just a quick call, and then I think it was like an hour and a half. So yeah.
Sounds right.
Anyway, hi. Uh,
It's so good to see you.
yeah, it's nice to see you too. And just to make sure, because I know other people asked me today, they're like, "Is it pronounced Ødfel?"
Yeah, Oatfell or Oddfell, whichever. It is my old gamer tag from when I used to play MMOs more, so there's no real correct
Okay,
way. I don't correct people,
okay,
so
okay. Just wanted to make sure. So thanks for
yeah, no
that
problem.
correction. Um, so we got to announce you today as being one of our cosplay guests, and everyone went crazy. There was people that like private messaged us, and they're like, "Oh my god, I never thought that you would have her be one of your characters." And then they're like, and having Ødfel be her, because it's like people that follow you, or they just love the character so much they know that you're one of the few people who have cosplayed her, and they're like, "Oh my god, I love her." So, just,
It's been very exciting. A lot of people have been super sweet and have been like reposting it and stuff, and it makes my heart happy because I was like, she's kind of cult classic. I don't know how hard she'll hit, and it's been really surprising. It's been great.
yes. Uncanny Experience. Yeah, I know that Madeline in comics lately has had a resurgence, but Uncanny Experience is the place to do these characters that not anybody or that few people do cosplays of, or that nobody does cosplays of. I know last year there were some cosplays there that I was like, oh my god, I love that character, but most people don't even know who that is. But then I saw
Yeah.
people, it's an X-Men con, and X-Men fans know exactly who these people are.
Oh
Because
yeah.
the character I'm thinking of specifically is a friend, Jay Cosmic. He did DJ from the Academy X era of kids. And everybody, I heard someone in the hallway as I walked past him, they were like, oh my God, I can't believe there's a DJ cosplayer here. And I was like, I can't believe you know who he is.
Yeah, I love that so much. Oh my
so,
gosh.
so yes. Um, Tell me, well, I'm going to talk first about Uncanny Experience.
Okay.
You were so excited when I asked you if you would join us. Why were you excited?
I just think it's such a unique convention, both because it's like partially LARP slash almost like the Disney experience of like meeting the characters mixed with convention elements. And I think that blurring of the line between like getting to insert yourself into the X-Men universe and it still being a convention is so unique and so interesting. And that's why I'm so excited to be part of it, because it's just something that I don't think I've ever seen a convention do before. And the immersive aspect of it is so cool, so beyond cool. So
I,
that's what I'm hyped about.
yeah, I'm glad you're excited about it because I know that, some people might think that some cosplayers don't like know what they cosplay. But I know that you're an X-Men fan.
Yeah.
I can tell by some of the shelves behind you that you are an X-Men fan. You're also a fan of other fandoms as well.
Yes.
Um, I was happy when I asked you to be a part of Uncanny because you were just like freaking out because you are such an X-Men fan.
Yes. Ironically, my X-Men shelves are not really in view, but yes, I am a huge X-Men fan. I've cosplayed far too many. So when you called, I was like, I don't know which character this is about. This is going to be a surprise for me too.
Yeah. You do have a lot. X-Men cosplays. So if there's people that are watching that don't know you, can you list some of the X-Men cosplays that you have, if you can even remember all of them?
This is like trivia now. Let me see.
Yeah, this is trivia about yourself.
Yeah. So, okay, I've done like 6 or 7 different versions of Jean Grey, done like 2 different versions of Emma. I've done Tempest. I've done Scarlet Witch if you count Scarlet Witch. I've done Betsy Braddock as Captain Marvel or as Captain Britain. Sorry, I'm looking at Captain Marvel stuff. So I've done Captain Britain. I've done Magic. I've done Goblin Queen. Um, that might be all of them. I'm probably forgetting a
Did
couple,
you say
but oh,
Kitty?
and I've done Rogue.
And yes, you have done
Oh,
Rogue.
and Kitty. Oh my God, and I've done Kitty. See, I'm forgetting
Yeah.
some.
I will say, I believe I started following you when you did your Emma Frost in the like newer black outfit, because that is when you came into my spectrum and I was like, oh my God, nobody could or should be able to pull off that weird outfit that she had. And I was like, whoever this girl is, she's amazing and I'm going to follow her.
Thank you. That is like, it is one of my favorite Emma costumes of all time, and it was one that I was just like staring at, and I'm like, I have to figure this out. Like, if nothing else, I have to figure out how to at least get it close, and it's still one of my favorite builds I think I've ever done.
Yes. And I think one of the first places you took that was Dragon Con. So that was, of course, a great place to have those pillars and everything for photos. Amazing.
It's one of my favorite cons for X-Men. Oh, Callisto! Oh my God, sorry. I
You're like,
it
I
made me
remember
think
7
of
more.
Dragon this year. Yeah, I was gonna say Dragon's one of my favorite cons to pull out the more obscure X-Men characters because their meetup is so big that no matter what you do, people are gonna get it. Because I did not expect anyone to get Tempest or to understand Callisto, and both were very, very big hits at Dragon Con, and I love the Dragon Con X-Men community so much.
Yes. Real quick, there was somebody in the chat
Yes.
that said, this con available to anyone. If you are talking about the Uncanny Experience, it is a con that happens in Minnesota. So if you would like more information, you can look at theuncannyexperience.com or look at our Instagram page, and then you'll get some more information. But I do see that there's people in the chat that have gone to the first Uncanny Experience, so Finch can fill you in case I missed some questions. Thank you, Finch. Is there an X-Men character that you haven't done yet that you would like to do, or is on your cos plans if you would like to share?
I have always wanted to do Rachel Summers. And I'm still beating myself up that I was too busy to really do it last year when my hair was short, because I'm growing my hair back out right now. But at some point I want to do her outfit that's the red trench coat with the yellow and red suit under it. It's one of my favorites of all time, and it's been on my list.
Yeah.
So someday I will do Rachel, and there's a couple other versions of Betsy I really want to tackle as well, because oh my gosh, ever since becoming Captain Britain, her outfits have been just 10 out of 10. So
Awesome. Is there... Never mind. I'll come back to that later.
do Dupe.
Why?
Sorry. One of the comments was like, you should do Dupe.
You should.
Adding that
You
to the
should.
cost plan list.
Add that to the plans. Yeah.
Listen,
And
I would, if it was physically possible, I would cosplay Glob Herman so fast. It would be so fun.
right?
That's like one I've always like.
It has to somehow possibly be
I know.
done.
I'm like, I gotta build like an exo suit.
Yes. I think the cosplayer Haman, who did our Juggernaut last year, who recently did a really cool Sabretooth, he could probably pull it off. He can make anything. So
Yes. Well, tell him
and I did want.
challenge accepted. I want to see someone cosplay Glob Herman.
I will say that's my favorite Rachel look. So thank you for choosing that. I know there's some people that don't like that look. It's my favorite look. So I'm glad that that's the one that you would want to do.
It is also my fave.
Tell me your X-Men origin story. How did X-Men enter your life?
So back in the day when I first started cosplaying, a decade ago now, I got a time hop that reminded me that this is my 10th year of cosplaying, so
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Hey.
Um, I used to work at a comic shop when I was in high school, and at the time I was mostly reading DC. I was really into Birds of Prey. Like back then I was pretty much only cosplaying like Black Canary, and I did Poison Ivy, and like I think Harley Quinn were like the only costumes I really had. My friend was like, "You're really gonna like X-Men. Like I cosplay Kitty Pryde all the time, and I think you would really like this character." And she like introduced me to Magic and gave me like a reading list for Magic, and I just kind of like hit X-Men through her and loved it. And I know the Bendis run is controversial. It was my first X-Men run, and I loved it. I love the dynamic with Magic, Emma, and Cyclops, and from there I kind of went forwards and backwards in time reading. It was right before that weird part of Marvel where they started killing a lot of X-Men off, so that kind of made me veer in the past more than the present.
Yes.
So that's kind of why I've read more older X-Men books than I have newer X-Men books, but that was kind of my origin into X-Men, and from there I fell in love. But Magic always has a soft spot in my heart because she was my first Marvel costume and really the way I got into Marvel comics. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Do you have a favorite X-Man? I know you just said that she holds a special spot. If you sword to your head, because I'm not going to say the other one, if you had to pick a favorite X-Man, who would
It's
that be?
It's probably her or Cyclops. And I get a lot of flack for Cyclops, but that is my man. I love him. And I think, like, as much as I love Magic, I feel like Cyclops has really had enough time to have some really, really interesting character growth. And some of the more recent stuff, they've regressed on it a little bit, and I don't know how to feel about it. But there for a while, he's had some really, really great and interesting character beats that I think they're kind of too afraid of to do with other characters. And since he's just always been there, I think they're more willing to explore with him. And I don't know. I really like what they've done with him as a character. I
Yeah.
have too many of him. So.
I like that. As a longtime X-Men reader, I did not like Cyclops for a long time. And prior to that Bendis run, when X-Men were in California living on Utopia, I really started to love him. I really started to love him when Jean died. I am not a Jean fan. But the reason I'm not a Jean fan is the same reason I was not a Cyclops fan before. They put them together too much and rely on them being a couple too much that I was like, I don't like these people. I need to like them separately. And so like when she died, I was like, wow, Cyclops is amazing.
No,
So
honestly, like I ship both of them, right? Like I like Jean and Emma. I like Cyclops and Emma, and I like Cyclops and Jean. All of them. It's all three ships are great.
yes.
But I feel like Cyclops really had time to grow when Jean died. Like Jean is one of my favorites for Inferno and Inferno alone, which is why I also like Maddie. But I feel like when she died at the end of Morrison is really when Cyclops' character got to bloom and expand and become something super interesting, and it made all of the characters around him a lot more interesting as well. And yeah, it was just probably my favorite era of X-Men is everything post Morrison to Bendis.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. Good. Uh, when I did invite you to be a part of Uncanny, and I told you that we were specifically thinking Maddie, you were like freaking out. So why do you love Maddie?
There's something about the Inferno story, I think, and I know it's controversial because like everyone's kind of mad that they brought Jean back from Dark Phoenix and stuff, but there's just something about Inferno that I love. There's something so interesting about it, and there's something just so interesting about Maddie's character being this clone that kind of is like, no, but I'm me, but then fighting with the fact that she isn't her, and then, you know, everything that happens with the demons and with Sinister. And she's just so interesting, and whenever they bring her back, a lot of the time she just has really interesting motives. And what they've been doing with her in Krakoa is super interesting. Obviously I love Limbo. I love Magic. So everything with tying her into Limbo again, and it's just been, I don't know. She's very unique, very interesting. And she's one of the reasons I fundamentally like Jean Grey, because a lot of her stories to me are very hit or miss. So I don't know. I was very excited. She's my girl. We support
Good.
women's wrongs.
Yes. Yeah. I was so happy that you would want to be her, because current X-Men fan readers know that she has been having a resurgence, and a lot of Maddie fans have been having the best time ever. I feel like one of the biggest Goblin Queen fans that I know is in the chat. His name is David. He actually just asked a question, and he said, "Will you be Inferno Goblin Queen or more modern?" And we're discussing that,
Yeah.
David.
The costume I have and the costume that I would be willing to wear is Inferno, but right now we're trying to figure out how kid-friendly the event needs to be, and that will decide if I modernize the outfit to one of her more full coverage. But I do have the Inferno outfit, so that is to be determined, I think.
Yes, we are gonna figure that out, David, and I'll let you know,
Yes.
David. Either way, David's gonna be there, and he's super excited.
I'm super hyped right there with you, so.
What is another huge fandom of yours? Because you are a cosplayer that has a billion looks. I'm going to tell you, I have a work friend that I was talking to today. She's like my work wife. And she supports everything that I do, including this crazy thing called the Uncanny Experience. And she saw your post because she follows Uncanny, even though she knows nothing about X-Men. And she's like, "Who is this gorgeous girl that you posted today?" And I was like, "Her name's Ødfel. She's going to be one of our cosplay guests." And she's like, "I'm stalking her page right now." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, she can be anyone. And what are these other fandoms?" And I was like, "Well, which photo are you looking at?" And she showed me, and I was like, "I don't know what that is." So
Fair.
tell me about some of your other fandoms.
Yeah, so I really in the past like year or so have gotten really, really into Final Fantasy VII. I've only played 7 and 14, so don't come after me, Final Fantasy fans. I'm going to play the other Final Fantasy games, but I've been really in deep on Final Fantasy VII. Fell in love with it. I've like deep dived the movies and the DLCs and played the original, and now I'm playing the mobile game, and I can't wait for the new one that comes out in February. So that's one that I've been really, really into. And I really like Castlevania as well. I feel like Castlevania is kind of more of an obscure niche one, but it's one of my favorites. In some anime, I really like things like Spice and Wolf. Yeah, someone said Kingdom Hearts is kind of in there with Final Fantasy adjacent. And Dragon Age. Those are kind of, I would say that's like my core main fandoms I keep up with, most of which are video games, but yeah. I kind of keep up with DC hit or miss, but I'm very selective about my titles, so I'm not always actively reading.
That's fair. When you came on the camera, I was like, okay, there's DC behind her, but I was like, it's Huntress and Black Canary and Poison Ivy. I'm okay with it. So
Yeah, and I've got
when
like one Terra, and that's it.
yeah, when it comes to DC, I'm very selective as well. I have a very small DC section over here. It's mostly Katana and Starfire,
Yeah.
and that's about it.
I want to get Starfire figures, but they're so hard to find, so I don't have any yet, but soon. But
You do have a really cool Starfire cosplay as well. You
thank
have
you. She's one of my faves.
you have way too many cosplays. You
I'm
probably
trying to like
do not know how many you
reorganize.
have.
I don't.
Do you know how many cosplays you've done? Okay.
I should count sometime. It's probably a disgustingly high number. um, I'm reorganizing like my cosplay area in the basement, and it's a lot of storage right now. But
Well, I'm going to ask you some more nerdy
yes,
questions so people get to know
please.
how cool of a person you are. So, gonna go Marvel heavy.
Yes.
MCU. Do you have a favorite MCU movie?
I always catch heat for this.
So this is the perfect question
Yeah,
to ask.
I had to do like a top 5 one time, and I thought like everyone else in the stream was gonna kill me. So I'm trying to think like,
I will let you pick two, so you can have a top two.
okay, can I pick a show or
Yeah,
just movies?
a show can count too.
Okay. Okay. My favorite of all time is WandaVision. Easy answer. If I get to pick a show, it's WandaVision. My second, though, I'm gonna say Dark World, and that's the one that always gets me so much heat. but I really like Dark
Oh,
World. It's a
uh,
really good Loki movie.
that's a choice.
Yeah, that's the one that always like it's
I don't think it's
it's probably either that or
horrible. I just never hear anyone say that.
it's probably either that or Captain Marvel. Like those are up there. The first Captain Marvel, as ones I really like. I've really liked the TV show so far though. I like Fringe Marvel and like what they did with Moon Knight and Werewolf by Night are like some of my favorite things they've done. I don't want to just list Disney Plus shows, but those are
Yeah.
genuinely some of my favorite projects they've done. So good.
I, I will say mine. And if I'm picking two, I will say WandaVision as well because it was just amazing. And she's not even necessarily a character that I like. I just think that was done very, very well.
So
Um,
good.
and this goes back and forth between the first Black Panther movie or the first Captain America movie. I super kind of love heroes that don't have powers.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's my two choices. So Dark World. Wow.
I so
Wow.
I like I like I like fantasy Marvel and I like mystic Marvel.
So
And for me, like
that's fair.
I I feel like Dark World is kind of like at this point it's also kind of a spite pick, I feel like, because I know every time I bring it up that I like that movie, people get really mad. But
Spite
I
picks
just
are fine.
it's such a well done fantasy movie, and I know people hate it for different reasons, but like it genuinely is the most fantastical I feel like Marvel's gotten. But Captain Marvel is my replacement for my second pick, so
Well, speaking of MCU, I'm gonna real quick divert from nerdy questions to say
absolutely.
you have done some like Marvel thingies, and I know one of those things is getting to be one of those amazingly lucky cosplay guests invited to like movie premieres and things. How did that happen?
So that actually happened thanks to Fox, actually, back in the day. Because right after the merger, right before Dark Phoenix came out, um, I got a message because at the time, it's when I was posting Jean Grey cosplays all the time, inviting me. They didn't know where I lived, but they invited me, and they're like, "We can't offer flights, but like, if you want to go to the Dark Phoenix premiere, like, we're trying to get Jean Grey mega fans out here to go see Dark Phoenix." So I ended up actually putting something on my story, and my fans helped me crowdfund it because this was, I mean, I think the month after I graduated college, like I was broke. Um, and my fans actually helped me go out there. That was my first premiere. It was amazing. It's how I met so many really cool, really nice West Coast X-Men cosplayers. It was my first premiere, and it has a special place in my heart. And ever since then, every now and then, I get sent an invite, and I try to take what I can, but like I don't live out west, so I can't fly out all the time. But I'm really honored to have kind of made it on a list like that. I don't know. It's really neat, and I'm just really flattered that I get those opportunities sometimes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that because it is a really cool thing that some people get lucky to be a part of, and it can sometimes just happen out of nowhere for people, and it's just really cool. And I got to go to one, or I've got to go to a few, but I'm not on a list. I got to go as a guest with someone who was on a list, and I got to go to one that you were at,
Yeah,
and it was so much fun standing next to you in like 120-degree sun for 4 hours.
trying to survive and wigs and Wanda wear and oh
Yeah,
my god,
yeah, we
that
were
was such
both
a fun one.
yeah, it was. We were both Wanda.
Mhm.
We were by a bunch of other Wandas. It was great. It was a
It's so
great
good.
time.
It was
We
so
all
good.
yeah, it was like trauma bonding because it was
Yeah,
fun but also torture.
God, that's how the Thor: Love and Thunder one was hot like that too, and everyone's in armor, and we're all like, please, the sun.
Awesome. Well, another fun thing that I have got to do with you is I every once in a while put together these silly little like cosplay calendars, but they're not really calendars. And I just wanted to tell everyone that you were a part of it. You did a really cool Captain Britain swimsuit, and I thought that was a very odd pick, but I was like, be whoever you want. And then you're like, I'm going to be Captain Britain. And I was like, oh.
I,
Um,
I was looking at the swimsuits I had and the wigs I had, and I was kind of like, this blue's giving Psylocke, but I don't have a dark Psylocke wig. I have the pastel purple. We're gonna make this work. We're gonna Captain Britain this, and I think it turned out really cute.
yes. A kind of a serious
Mhm.
question. How, I guess it kind of goes with cosplayers in itself of like being a cosplayer that shows skin sometimes. How do you like doing that? Do you feel creeped out by people at cons? Like, talk about that because it's a thing
Yeah,
out there.
it's one of those things. I feel like I was more confident about it before the pandemic. I was kind of more like, I don't know. I don't know if it's the cons have changed or just I've changed, but I find myself wearing less super revealing outfits at public events and keeping them more for shoots nowadays. But when I was a newer cosplayer, I was very much more just like gusto about it. As long as I had someone with me to make sure if there was someone being like creepy or uncomfortable to get me out of that situation. Because I actually the photos for Madeline Pryor that were used on the announcement were taken at KatsuCon. So I wear that at a very, very big and busy convention. And it's one of the things like I like wearing revealing costumes, but it's one of those like sometimes you have to have kind of the spoons ready to deal with people. Because people will say things that are kind of out of pocket sometimes. Like even when I'm in Poison Ivy, which isn't nearly as revealing as some of the stuff I've done, people will just say stuff or be weird about it, and it just kind of depends on how you're feeling that day. Like there's definitely been days where I'm like, I can't deal with this today, so I'm just gonna order something else. And there's other times where I'm like, no, I feel good about this and I can deal with that, so we're just gonna roll with it. But I have seen like the older I get, the more I kind of save some of those for like shoots or events where I know more people there or that feel more like an audience that would be respectful of it, if that makes sense.
You mentioned that you did those Maddie pics at KatsuCon. You are a person that goes to a lot of cons. You are a person who is a cosplay guest at a handful of cons. What are some of your favorite cons to go to?
That's such a good question because I like so many different cons for different reasons. Um, I think so. Katsu's my favorite con to take pictures at, because if you've never been to the Gaylord, it's stunning. There's like marble floors and like this marble like terrace area on one level, and then there's like bricks and trees and a fountain on one level. There's topiaries and the harbor outside. Like it's my favorite con because like there's just the convention center actually takes good photos, you know. AX is a really cool one in LA because animation studios actually show up and they get a lot of Japanese guests that don't show up to other United States cons. Um, I really liked PowerCon last year. It was a toy convention I did that they're taking a bi-year this year, so there isn't one this year, but hopefully next year. It started out as a He-Man con and became more of just a toy convention. And that one was so fun because I'm used to going to toy shows, but going to one that's actually a toy con that has like guests and kind of like we had a costume contest and everyone was dressed like toys, and that was so refreshing because I'm used to seeing like the same, local cosplayers and stuff. That one was a blast. I don't know. There's a lot of cons that have like a cool little thing to them, you know? Like
Yeah,
Dragon Con is good for pulling out niche references because someone will get it even if it's obscure, you know?
yeah, because there's so many people there. I've
Yeah.
never been, but I know there's a lot of people.
It's like
I did,
nerdy gras.
yeah. I did not know that about KatsuCon and how. I mean, I've seen beautiful pictures from there, but didn't know the extent of the beauty. So I think I would really like to go to one of those one time. So,
It's pretty. Any of the ones at the Gaylord are honestly really pretty for photos if that's kind of your thing that you like to do in costumes. I know, I think, oh God, what's the one that's this weekend? I don't know. There's another con there this weekend and the name
there's a
is escaping
con
me, but
every weekend.
yeah, they have like 2 or 3 cons at that venue throughout the year, so.
um, we have a question.
Mhm.
The question is, what is your favorite cosplay currently? So I guess of yours. And I do see somebody in the chat, they just said blue green artifacts Ødfel at Experience. Yes, Ødfel is joining
Yes,
us at Uncanny Experience sophomore year.
I'm
But
so
Ødfel,
excited.
what is your favorite cosplay of your own right now? It can change tomorrow, so just what can you think of right now?
I would say it's a tie. Um, I'm really excited to finally have an Aerith costume. I didn't make it, so it's my favorite as far as like I really like how I look in it, and I'm really excited about it right now. But I would say Holo is my favorite one that I've made in a long time. It's one that I really worked hard on to sew. It's one of my favorite comfort characters. So it's somewhere between those two. They're the two that I've been like the most eager to wear again and the most excited that I've been for a while. So.
Awesome. Well, cool.
Magfest.
Uh,
Someone said it in the comments. Sorry, Magfest is this weekend, and
okay.
it's also there.
Awesome.
Thank you, comments.
Yes. And anyone in the comments, if you do have questions, you can click the little question mark and I'll ask your question out loud because I might not see it in the chat. Uh, out of everything that you saw about the first year of Uncanny, and this may be you repeating yourself from the beginning, but what's something that makes you excited or that you're like, oh my God, I wish I would have went the first year? Because I know that you were very, I know you had FOMO from not being able to go last year.
Yeah, I was really thinking about going, but it was near the end of my convention season, and it was my best friend's birthday weekend. So I was like, next year, I can do it next year. So I think the thing that I really liked was the sense of community, like the graduation photo at the end, and just seeing the convention floor photos and everyone getting along and people cosplaying like OCs or obscure characters and just I don't know, something about the Uncanny Experience looks like it because it's so niche and because it's just X-Men. It really feels like it's more intimate and like everyone talks and hangs out and it's kind of more like a big family than just like a bunch of strangers hitting a convention, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm excited for is just the sense of community that this convention has and the fact that I know so many people, because like a lot of us in the X-Men community know each other, we talk to each other, so it'll be great to see everyone, you know?
Yeah. There is a few questions in the chat, but I'll do one that somebody sent to the question mark. I think you kind of answered it before they joined us, but I know you said a friend introduced you to the X-Men.
Yes.
Their question is what originally drew you to it, but I'll kind of go off of that and change the question. Like, what made you want to stay with the X-Men? I know a friend can refer it and you can read it, but like, what made you want to be an X-Men fan after being referred to it?
There was just something about the New Mutants. I don't know, like after I started, because after I was referred to like you should cosplay magic I like went on the wiki, I read the whole character wiki, I saw like books that she was in, and then I started reading those books that she was in, and like X-Men kind of grabbed me and I was kind of interested, but there's just something about the New Mutants that I just really really clicked with, and I'm not sure what it was, but like that is my team. I love that team. And I don't know if it's just that I was a teenager at the time or what, but I just really gravitated towards that book, and it's what kind of kept me in the X-Men fandom, especially in a period where like a lot of the new releases are kind of not great because this was in 2014. So there was lots of like flops and trying new things and rebranding every 2 years in that era. So I think like something about the New Mutants just really got me. I loved those characters, and then I wanted to read other things those characters were in, and then I spiraled, and it kind of just I don't know, something about that team.
Awesome. Yeah. So there was a few chat questions. Real quick, there's one that I think is for me. It says, "Are we getting a Havoc or a Sinister to go with Goblin Queen?" I will give a little bit of two spoilers. One, unfortunately, we will not be having a Mr. Sinister. That would be amazing if we could. We have tried, but we can't. At least not this year. And I will say there is a possibility that there may be a Havoc. So maybe, maybe not.
I'm excited.
Yeah, this is news to Ødfel as
Yes.
well. So it's actually news to me as of very recently. Um, Somebody in the chat, Marvel Fanboy 63, asked, "What's your favorite prop weapon that you have ever made?"
Oh, okay, it's a tie. I really, really like my magic sword. But a friend made it for me. But it was one of my first cosplay. I mean, this cosplay prop is from literally like 2015, I think. But he made it for me out of plexiglass, and it has a flashlight in the handles that actually lights up. And it's like I'm sitting in a chair, but it's probably like shoulder height to me if I was standing up. Um, and then one that I made personally is probably my trident for my Kyogre cosplay. I did like a human armor version of a legendary Pokemon, and I carved this trident out of insulation foam, and it's one of my most technical builds I think I've ever done. I don't know if I would do it again because it was extremely fragile, and there's better ways to make weapons than carving them nowadays. But I had a lot of fun carving and learning how to kind of have that skill and build that, and I'm really proud of that trident.
Awesome. Another question is, how has cosplay changed for you after COVID? Or has it?
Yeah, I feel like it has a lot. I feel like the media cycle is faster. And as someone who cosplays for a living, I feel like there's kind of a expectation to have more cosplays more often. I feel like before I could be like, okay, I'm gonna focus on making like one or two really intricate costumes, and I'll buy a couple to post in the meantime. But I feel like one of the things to come out of the pandemic is just faster turnover, which is just one of those things, as far as like the job side of it. So I do find myself like ordering more things while I'm crafting something to have more things to put out. But as far as like a fan side, I feel like the biggest thing is I feel like people socialize less at conventions. Get out there and mingle. I feel like a lot of people stick to their groups now where they used to just kind of like wander and talk to people. But yeah, I don't know. Cosplay hasn't changed a whole lot. There's like little things. Um, but that's my biggest thing is like if you're at a convention, just go mingle. Everyone there is nervous. Everyone there is nerdy. People used to mingle a whole bunch before the pandemic. Just get out there and do it. Make friends. That's how I made a lot of my cosplay friends.
Yes, I agree. I completely agree with everything you said. I used to be one of those shy people and then stopped being that shy person, and now I have a bazillion nerdy friends, and then I don't feel
Exactly.
awkward.
Yeah.
Uh, do you like cosplaying characters based on their personality or design?
Ooh, a little column A, a little column B. There's definitely characters I've done where I don't really like their design, but I love them. But a lot of times I feel like I am drawn to a character for their design, and then I decide if I like them. So it's kind of like a mix. I don't know if there's really any I've done purely on design that I haven't liked, but the design does kind of sway me. Like I usually get attached to a character largely if their design is cool, and I'm kind of sussing out if I like them.
Uh, I know you've done a lot of cosplay that involves makeup application. What is a character that you've done that required the longest amount of makeup?
Sorry, I'm like calculating. I've done three comic book characters that have rainbow skin tones. All all of them had their arms and legs out. I think Starfire takes the cake though because she had her midriff out. So I think just by coverage, Starfire might be the hardest technical makeup look I've done. The Squirrel face paint was challenging just because there were so many details to it, and the cheetah face paint was difficult because I had to kind of learn how to do like the first strokes. But Starfire just takes a really long time because there's like all the cutouts and my whole midriff and my whole legs. But I really enjoy body paint. It's been really fun, and I'm hoping to do more body paint projects in the future because it's a really fun medium that I feel like looks way more intimidating than it actually
Yeah.
is. And one of
I
my
was
friends,
just gonna ask, is it hard?
it's, I mean, I'm biased because I also have experience painting, but I really feel like if you're doing like the water-based Mehron and you just need to turn like one color and you're not painting like an intricate design, it's quite easy. You just have to be patient to like kind of dab it so it doesn't streak. And then you just contour with that color as you would contour normally. And it's really, I mean, it's a lot easier than I feel like it looks. And I feel like it's very intimidating for people who are looking at it from the outside.
Yes,
But I'm really glad my
it
friends
looks
kind of
very
hyped me up.
intimidating.
Yeah, like some of the more intricate ones, like yeah, sure, like Cheeto was really difficult. Um, but some of the more easy ones, like Starfire, it's really just the patience to get an even coat, and then it's just contouring with orange makeup as I would normally.
Yeah.
Um, but it's really like if you're thinking about trying it, definitely try it because it's a lot less scary than it seems.
I have not done a painted cosplay. I'm intimidated. I am afraid. But I will say that everyone that does follow me or knows me, my boyfriend did Hulkling this past March and to my Wiccan, and he like taught himself slash he had another cosplay friend. Shout out to Alyssa Hope. She's amazing. She gave him kind of a tutorial, and then he also watched some stuff on YouTube. And I think he put the full green on his face maybe 3 times before we went to WonderCon, and each time he looked better. So
Hmm.
I'm still intimidated. I'm still scared of it. But I know that for him, practice made perfect, and he looked amazing at WonderCon. So yeah.
All
Uh,
the photos are it looks fantastic too.
yes. Uh, I'll ask you a question of my own. Um, do you have advice for anyone who wants to do cosplay in general, and cosplay in general might feel intimidating?
Yeah, I would say like don't feel like whatever you cosplay first has to either A be the final product or B be exactly what you see. Like when I first started cosplaying, a lot of what I did is I would go out and I would thrift parts and I would alter them. And then as I got skills from altering those pieces, then I would tackle maybe like making a piece or maybe I'd find something else that was better. And a lot of my early cosplays and a lot of my cosplays even still today are kind of continual works in progress where I'll learn a new skill and I'll be like, I'm gonna go back because now that I've done this thing before, I think I could remake this part better. And I just kind of upgrade things. And there's always time to go back and upgrade. Don't feel like whatever you put out has to be perfect at first. I feel like the internet makes it kind of feel like there's a pressure to make all your cosplays perfect, but there's really not. Take the time to learn things, take the time to enjoy it, take the time to love it, and just improve yourself and don't really compare yourself. I don't know if that, but my best advice would be like start small. You know, maybe it's a character that wears street clothes and you're just altering basic stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but
No, it does. I like it. I have another Instagram page that I have not really worked on in a while, but it's House of Cosplay, and I used to do Instagram lives with people and ask them questions like this. So I really love hearing your side of it on that answer as well, because I still get intimidated myself on certain cosplays, or whenever I'm putting one together, I'm like, oh, it's not going to look this good, but then I'm like, it doesn't have to. It's me, and I'll grow or whatever. So.
no, exactly. I always put so much pressure on myself because I feel like it has to look a certain way or it has to be at a certain level. And I'm like, no, if I make it and I don't like it, I just hold off and I fix it later. You know, like
Yeah,
it's for fun. You know.
yeah. And like you're the only one that is holding yourself at that standard,
Hmm.
because whatever you do end up doing, nobody else knows that. Even if you don't like it, nobody else knows that you don't like it, or that you
Yeah.
didn't get exactly what you wanted. You could be getting exactly not what you wanted, but they don't know that. So
Oh God, the best advice I ever got is the 5 foot rule. Like honestly, if it looks good from 5 feet away, no one else knows that the thing is messed up except you. And that has been so life-saving as someone who tends to either both con crunch and be kind of perfectionist. Because like I'll just hyper fixate on something I messed up. But if I'm like, you know what, you can't see this from 5 feet away, no one on the con floor is gonna see it. And if someone is that close inspecting your costume, that's on them.
yes, they should not be that close anyway.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm happy you said that, because had another cosplayer tell me that one time because I was judging myself. I was going to be doing something for a group, but then I ended up just not doing the group anyway. But it was the cosplayer, the girl with the great smile. Her name is Jordan. She told me that. She was like, if you don't be a part of this thing that we're doing, it's fine. But if you are, the 5 feet rule. No one's going to know. And as long as it looks good in the front and looks good for the pictures in the front, no one's going to know. So stop.
Exactly.
And I was like, you know what? You're right. So yes, I like that. Thank you for saying that. There was a question that said, do you have any advice for any cosplayers who are thinking about becoming full-time content creators?
Um, I would say like it's almost like D&D, right? Multi-class as much as you can because the internet isn't as easy as it used to be. When I first started Instagram, for example, like this was back in 2014 when the timeline was still chronological. And it was predictable and you could kind of be like, okay, this is how this will do or this is how that will do. But with the algorithms always changing, it's kind of about like putting as much out on different platforms as you can to kind of see where your community starts building, where people are engaging with you, what kind of content both you enjoy making and people enjoy you making if you're trying to make this your job. So like trying to post on Twitter or on TikTok or YouTube as well as Instagram and just kind of like see where things are taking off for you. Trying to have regular posting schedules, even if it's like works in progress or selfies, but trying to have a regular presence is another really good tip I can give. And just not pushing yourself too hard. Like if you're trying to make it your job, like it's so hard not to have burnout. But like an audience can tell when you're not into it. Like an audience can tell when you no longer enjoy what you're doing. And there's several times I've been burnout. I'm not going to say I haven't been. But definitely kind of just, staying true to what you like and posting often and people will come to you for you and what you like making and what fandoms you engage with. But don't beat yourself up about it if like the internet is slow, like algorithms aren't what they used to be. It's difficult and it's kind of like rolling the dice sometimes on if something will take off, even if you put a lot of work into it, and that's just the internet, unfortunately. So I
Yes.
wish I had more like this is the golden ticket advice,
Yeah.
but
I
it's
don't
kind of just a bit of
I
dabbling.
don't think there's any right or wrong answer to that. That will you hit it, and sometimes it takes a while
Yeah.
to get to it. Like I will say it's not content creating, but I like to point this out because this is what kind of put me into the X-Men community. Is I have an X-Men Facebook group, and I was a part of a bunch of X-Men Facebook groups in like 2013, 2014, 2015, and I did not like the way that a lot of them were ran because they weren't great. So then I made my own, and it took a while because X-Men Facebook groups are a dime a dozen on Facebook, but it has now gotten up to, and I have a bunch of different groups, some that are just for Storm, some for just Emma, whatever. And if I combine all of those, and there's some people that are in one and not all of them, the number of followers is probably in the 80,000. And that's because I started small and just had to wait. And people
Mm-hmm.
that want that will find you. So, yeah, you just got to be
And
patient.
especially with the internet these days, like as long as you're making what you love and it's genuine, you never know what one photo or one video will like blow up. Like I was posting on TikTok through the pandemic completely and I wasn't getting anywhere. And then one random X-Men video hit like a million. Now all of a sudden I have a TikTok platform. Like
Yeah.
it it's one of those things where like, as long as it's content you are proud of, you truly never know when it's gonna
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. So I'm going to do something fun right now. I mentioned this to Ødfel before we started doing the live. There's a good number of people watching right now. So I'm going to give something away. So Ødfel's going to ask a question, and anyone that's in the chat, uh, whoever is the first person to give this answer, you will win a prize. And that prize is this Funko Pop. It is a Goblin Queen Funko Pop. It is from X-Men 97. Since Ødfel is going to be Goblin Queen at Uncanny Experience, I wanted to have something fun on this Instagram Live. So, again, Ødfel's going to ask a question. Whoever can type in the comments the answer first. So whoever shows up first. So I'm sorry if you have slow internet or whatever. Whoever shows up first is going to be the winner, and I will mail it out to you. So, Ødfel, what is the question that we're going with?
Yes. So, does anyone know what Maddie's middle name is?
Yes, Madeline
That's
Pryor's
our
middle
yeah.
name. And if no one knows, who's the quickest person to Google
Yeah.
it?
Who has the best Google who?
Yeah, who has another device next to them
But this
to
is a deep cut. This is a deep cut. So
Avenging underscore AJ. You have won. You said Jennifer, and that is Maddie's middle name. So, Avenging, when we get done with this Instagram Live, message me or message Uncanny Experience, and I will get in touch with you. A lot of people are.
those were lightning fast. Yeah.
Now everybody's answers are coming in, and yes, Jennifer is the answer. But Avenging AJ, you got it first, so make sure you message me because I might forget your
Y'all
name. Actually, I won't.
are on your Maddie trivia. I love this.
Yes.
You're like Madeline Pryor. I got it.
Yes. These X-Men fans are crazy, in a good way, and sometimes in a bad way. But yeah, I'm gonna get to the end of our live. I've had a lot of fun. I do want to talk about the experience a little bit more before we go. The Uncanny Experience was an amazing master idea of me and the two other founders, Chandler and Chris. We were all one time talking about how we love the X-Men because between the three of us, we have two X-Men podcasts, and we were like, why is there not an X-Men con? Because there's 18 different types of Power Ranger cons, and there's Harry Potter cons and Doctor Who cons, and we're just, why is there not an X-Men one? And then we were just like, well, why don't we make one? And cons cost a lot of money, so we had to pivot a little bit, and the experience was our negotiated, like, this is something we can actually make happen. And yeah, then we came across the Minneapolis Club in Minnesota, and they were very happy to do something different with their settings. They were like, you want to do what? This sounds great. Do it. And and then we got to have the first year of Uncanny where people come, experience con-like elements, but then they also get to walk around something that looks just like the mansion and see X-Men walking around. And after the first event, there were so many people that just talked about how emotional it was for them because they got to be with their people. X-Men, at least for me, at its core, is very family orientated. It is people that found their chosen family. And for a lot of people, that's what they need. And even when they go to cons and they can, find other nerds, they still have to wade through that sea of nerds to find the person that's doing the cosplay of the fandom that they like. And so for X-Men fans and getting to be all in one spot, there were so many people that were just emotional and like crying at the con and crying after. And I'm just happy that you get to be a part of that because you are such a huge X-Men fan. A lot of our cosplayers are huge X-Men fans, and they know that like their job is going to give someone an amazing moment. And I'm happy that you are going to be a part of that because you are an amazing person. You're an amazing cosplayer. And we've been talking with Ødfel about some really magical stuff that she will be doing at the experience. So
Yeah.
uh, stay tuned for that, or just buy a ticket and figure out what it is when the experience happens. But there's another cosplayer in our chat right now, Am Diaz Art. He's our Nightcrawler, and I'm so excited. I'm not sure, Ødfel, if you know him or if you've met him. His name is Align.
I don't think we've
I'm
met yet.
Yeah, so I'm so happy that Kurt and Maddie will get to meet each other. And yeah, I'm super happy you're joining us. There's so much fun that's going to happen, and I believe that you are going to be a huge part of our sophomore year. So I'm very happy that you are joining us.
I'm very excited to be a part of this. It's honestly like I said, it's so unique and it's so community building, and I'm so excited to get to be part of this year.
Okay, well, thank you, Ødfel, for giving me an hour of your time, and
Yes.
maybe we'll have another Instagram live before Uncanny happens. But other than that, I hope you all can join us. Uncanny Experience sophomore year is September 28th and 29th. And you can get tickets for it at theuncannyexperience.com. There is VIP tickets available, but they are going fast and almost sold out. So if you want to get the really cool experience, make sure you're on that. Anyway,
Yes.
Everybody have a great night, and Ødfel, thank you and have a good
Yes.
night too.
Thank you so much for having me. And there's been a handful of questions that we didn't get to, so I might hop on a live over on my page for like a half hour to answer the remaining questions. But I'm
Awesome.
happy to go live with you anytime. I'm so excited to be a part of this, and just thank you for having me.
Yeah, awesome. Go to Ødfel's Instagram live, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Hello, hello. So I just got off a stream with the amazing Uncanny Experience. There was a couple questions I didn't get to, so I wanted to do a short AMA just while, I've got a little bit more free time. So I'll try and do an AMA here for a little bit, answer the questions that we weren't able to get to. But altogether, I don't know. I haven't lived here in a while, and I'm really excited to be part of Uncanny, so I figured I would talk a little longer. I'm really excited to be joining them, honestly. Like when they came to me for Maddie, I like lost my mind. She's one of my favorites, and I haven't gotten a cosplayer in a long time. So I'm really excited to upgrade her and bring her back out, because the last time I wore her was, I think, before the pandemic. So I'm really excited to get to spend time and make a really, really exciting build and to bring her out this year. Thank you so much for popping by. It's always great to see you. Oh my gosh, he's one of my favorites, and he actually matches her because she has a Sentinel base as well. I'm just mad they haven't made a Jean one with the Sentinel base, because I'd have the three of them on a shelf. I don't know if I'll be at Cleveland Fan Expo again. I think I missed the application period for it. I just got really busy in winter. So I don't know if I'll be there again, unfortunately. Just thanks for the help at Fan Expo Cleveland. I got another cosplay hosted. Oh, I'm so glad! You are amazing, and I'm so glad you're getting cosplay gigs, because you deserve it. Your builds are so cool. Thank you! I appreciate it. It was so good getting to go on live with them and talk things out. I'm not trying to steal the thunder of their stream. I do want to spend some more time with you guys, and I do want to answer some questions that I know we didn't get to touch on everything. We need Ødfel figures. That would be cool. I wonder if I could an action figure of me. Maybe one of my OCs. That would be really fun to make like a figure of one of my original characters. Your Callisto made my day. Oh, thank you. Please do email if you as I stutter. Please do email me photos. I don't have a whole lot of Callisto stuff. She's kind of more obscure, so I haven't shot her yet. She was really fun to wear at the aquarium though. The guy at security was like, "Are you a Morlock?" And I went, "Yes." And he's like right inside. And I'm like, "Thank you." It was a lot of fun. I want to see the Cyclops. Here, hold on. I recently redid my shelves because I used to have a comic wall and I used to have teams in front of the books, but I redid this room, so now I don't have that. So for the time being, I've got like Emma, Scott, and then Jean on their own shelves until I remake a comic wall. So, because a lot of my Marvel Legends aren't on display, but I figured for my big three, I would. So, there's all the Emmas. Here's my Cyclopses. And then I got some Cyclops and jeans, and then the jeans. And this space here will be the comic wall eventually, but, you know. That's my X-Men shelves. I mean, well, if I can hook this on here. That's my X-Men shelves right now, sans like the couple that are on this. But eventually I'll have my Marvel Legends back because I want to put teams in front of my number ones. Like I have the Hellfire Club box set. I want to put it in front of my Hellfire Club first appearance. And like I have most of the New Mutants and I want to put them in front of New Mutants number one, stuff like that. So once I rebuild that wall, it'll be a really cool display piece and also a fun thing to film in front of. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm really proud of how it's retooled because I was getting a little burnout with all of them being Marvel. So I'm glad to kind of have more space to display some of my non-Marvel stuff in with my Marvel stuff. So that way I'm not just kind of, you know. So, yeah. I can kind of move out of the way so you can see the other shelves. My husband told me you're on with Omar. You became my favorite person that I didn't already. Yeah, so I started out, I met Omar when he was looking for people to do Map My X, because at the time I was posting primarily X-Men content. So we mapped a handful of X-Men omnibuses together, and now at least once a month I try to be on his Marvel previews shows. We've been doing some evergreen videos too. I think we've got another one coming up that'll be fun. And occasionally we reviewed Marvel like TV shows and stuff. If you want to see all the near mint condition stuff that I've been a part of, I do have playlists on my YouTube channel. If it's a TV show or movie, it's under my pop culture playlist, and if it's about comics, it's under my comic book videos playlist. But I do a lot of collabs on other channels when it comes to that kind of thing, so I try and at least have playlists on my YouTube since they're not my videos, so people can find them later. Omar's a great guy, though. I love him, even if we roast each other sometimes. Will you do other costumes at Uncanny? Probably not. So the thing with Uncanny Experience is that we are kind of like Disney cast members. You will have character experiences. We will have storyline type things. We will have like a loose approximation of quests from what I've been filled on. Don't quote me on this. I've only had one meeting about this, but it sounds like we'll have like quests to give and like character meet and greets and possibly even in-character panels. So unless one of their evening events, like I knew they do Hellfire Club, unless they ask me to do something like that where I would need a second costume, I believe I will just be playing Madeline Pryor for the weekend. Security, are you a Morlock? No, literally, because I like did not expect to really get clocked because it looks like street clothes sans the eye patch, and it made my whole day. It was so good. And I got to feel like I was in the sewer because they have the big, like, pipe with the aquarium, you know. That Emma statue, though, she is so pretty. I want more Diamond Form Emma Frost figures. I love her Diamond Form. She is just... Hello, hello! Honestly, no, like... Are you excited for X-Men 97? Yes and no. I would have liked to see another season of either X-Men Evolution or a season 2 for Wolverine and the X-Men before I ever saw a continuation of the 90s X-Men cartoon. I feel like the 90s X-Men cartoon is the most canon to the comics, but because of that doesn't have an original storyline. I was not very excited for X-Men 97 until I saw it was Inferno. And now that they're tackling Inferno, which is like one of my favorite comics of all time, I am quite excited. That being said, I really would have loved to see a continuation of the story that they put down in either Evolution or Wolverine and the X-Men, because they were so unique and interesting, and I kind of liked it that they were their own things. But I adore Inferno, so I'm actually quite excited for X-Men 97 now, because that's just, it's one of my favorite arcs. It's chaotic, it's magical, it's demonic, It's unique for the X-Men, and I really like it despite all of its camp. It's a really, really good time. My car's a white Chevy and I named her Emma. Yes! The original Inferno Madeline by Silvestri is fire. Yes, that's what I based my costume on. I actually recreated a couple Silvestri pieces. I've done 2 of Emma and Jean together, and then I've done 1 Silvestri recreation that's just of my Jean. But that Silvestri outfit is my favorite, and it's the one that I based my costume on forever ago in like 2017. So I'm excited to kind of upgrade it and dive in. I'm literally unboxing my second Captive Carrot right now. My X-Men collection is all Pride of the X-Men. I need that Emma. Which one? So I've got, this is the newest Marvel Legend one, and then this one is actually the Marvel Select Emma. They're honestly about the same height. This one keeps getting called Blue Emma, and I understand why. She doesn't look super blue in person, but her shading makes her look kind of blue in photos. I don't think I've ever heard of Crystar. Your Sypha cosplay is one of the best I've ever seen. If there would be a live action, you'd be perfect for the role. Thank you. I adore Sypha. She's one of my favorite characters. I've actually got a little Sypha down here. She's one of my comfort characters. I love her so much. I comfort watch the first series of Castlevania so much. I'm actually working on a new Sypha cosplay right now. I don't know when I'll get to debut it, but hopefully soon. But I am working on her season 1 and 2 look, because right now I just have her sleeveless. So I am very excited about that. Hopefully that means some more Sypha content coming y'all's way sometime soon. I need to redo the wig because DragonCon kind of destroyed it. But that silk statue, thank you. It's one of my favorites. It's the Marvel, like the Women of Marvel premiere that they did a couple years back. The details on her are insane just compared to these other Kotobukiyas that are like the normal, because like her magic, this Captain Marvel and this Scarlet Witch are all 10th scale Kotobukiyas, but this one's like their premiere line, and oh my god, her eyes are shiny. She's got like makeup on. It's so good. It's so good. As someone who wants to do a Mr. Sinister at Uncanny Experience, what advice can you give on full face paint? So white face paint is kind of different. It's very, very difficult because I don't think there's, and don't quote me, face paint people. Issa, if you're still in chat, please actually do come at me and yell at me. But I've never heard of a good water-based, and water-based is what I find to be the easiest for a lot of colors. But when it comes to white, you usually have to go with a cream base, and there's really hit or miss cream bases. Some feel like you're in like clown cake white and it's really thick. The best advice I would give is, I've never used it, but as an occasional goth and as someone who follows lots of goth creators, heard really good things about the Sunset Makeup white foundation and the cream sticks from Mayron that Issa, Tinkering Pixie, and I used for Gideon the Ninth were also really good high coverage white. I would suggest getting tons of light gray eyeshadows to use as contour to carve back out your cheeks, your nose, maybe a little bit on your eyelids. And then the black outliner paint, also from Mayron, that we used for our Gideon the Ninth stuff, would be really good for doing things like his eyebrows, if you do the Widow's Peak, or if you want to do the goatee, with a nice soft paintbrush. That would be my advice. White is a little different, but I would say those two products I've heard good things. The white cream paint that I used for Batwoman forever ago was way too creamy, and it never really set, and anytime I touched anything it was just white. So yeah, it can be a lot finickier. You're doing great. Well, thank you. Thank you. I don't want to like co-opt our stream. There was some people still asking things, and I don't mind sitting and answering questions, especially when people are excited for Uncanny. I'm very excited for Uncanny, so we can hang out a little bit longer. Your eyes are popping with the lighting. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, there was a scavenger hunt freshman year that cosplayers had to help with. It was so cool. Gambit was definitely Gambit with the clues. So fun. Oh, but that's so fun. I'm so excited for this, and I'm so excited to get to just I don't know. I'm very excited. I've been kind of out of the loop on X-Men lately because I got really burnt out because I was making almost exclusively X-Men content for a little bit, but I'm starting to dip my toes back in because it's something I do really love, and this has gotten me really excited to get re-involved in the X-Men community and to start cosplaying things again, which is just great, you know, because as a creator, like, no one likes being burnt out, so I'm really happy to have something that makes me excited again and makes me want to dive back into books and make new costumes and really be a part of the community again, you know? Someone mentioned in that stream that you do a good marrow. If you ever do that, hit me up. I'm doing maggot next. That would be really cool. Marrow would be a lot of fun, actually. If 97 does well, maybe we'll get a continuation of the other series. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would love to. I just like a good original story, you know? Wolverine and the X-Men was awesome. I think it's my favorite of the X-Men cartoons. I've not seen the recent Silvestri Batman Joker series, no. Hi, friend. Hello. The Hellfire Club 4-plaque Emma matches the Pride of the X-Men arcade costume. It does! It does. It looks really good. I still have her in the box because since I don't have my wall set up, I don't want to take anything out of the boxes yet. I'm the worst about that. I really need to set up a wall. I have a PlayStation. I used to play mostly on PC, but when Final Fantasy Remake came out, I got a PlayStation. Peter and Kitty or Magic and Kitty? The Magic and Kitty, all the way. All the way. That's what got me into X-Men. I love them so much. Magic and Kitty, 200%. You have a lovely collection. Thank you. White makeup is awful for face paint. Airbrushing watered down cream worked for me. Usually have to airbrush. Yeah. White is very finicky. I love the Cyclops collection you have. That's so cool. Thank you. That's my boy. I feel like I have the most of Jean Grey, which ironically, like, I love Jean Grey, but I also equally love Emma. They make really cool Jean merch, so I've got like a lot of really cool Jean stuff because I feel like she gets a lot of the best stuff. Uncanny is so much fun. Can't wait to meet you. Can't wait to meet you too. It sounds really fun. Also, hello. It's so good to see you. Oh my gosh. Burnout sucks. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I've learned to have to pace myself. You know, being a full-time artist is something where, like, the thing you do for fun becomes the thing you have to do. And it's been a really big learning curve for me on keeping the passion alive, still being excited, but finding out that sometimes I need breaks and I need to refresh with something else and then I can come back and be excited again. I've been reading X-Force, didn't know Logan and Domino were a thing. Oh, yeah. I read that forever ago. I haven't read it in a while, but from what I remember, they have a pretty fun written romance. Sorry, I'm trying to scroll and it's being a little picky. There we go. I love your collection. Thank you. I recently redid my shelves. Sex and Violence was a great... Yep, that's the one I read. Oh, it's hardback. I'll have to check that out. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up. I feel like I'm wildly behind on this chat. Best couple since Deadpool and Shikla. You said New Mutants is your jam. What did you think of the new movie they put out? For what it was, we enjoyed it. We know it wasn't perfect, but we feel like they did more justice than X3 did Gene. I loved the New Mutants movie. I really loved the storyline they gave Wolfsbane. I actually thought about cosplaying that Wolfsbane, but I thought maybe no one would care. But I really, really enjoyed that movie. I loved Wolfsbane. I loved what they did with Magic. I know, like, some people weren't fully happy with what they did with Magic, but for being kind of a side shot movie, I really liked it, and I would kind of like to see them pull that into the mainline MCU when they bring in X-Men, because I think it was disconnected enough from the Foxverse it could survive in the MCU. I loved the castings. Everyone, like, Blue did an amazing job as Danny Moonstar. Demon Bear is one of my favorite stories of all time, though, so I'm also extremely biased. But I really liked it as a Demon Bear story, and it was really cool to see little Easter eggs like Lockheed. Girls of Grayskulls reinvigorated my toy customs. Yes, I gotta finish my customs. I got a Madeline Pryor statue over there that I bought forever ago with the intentions of turning into the Silvestri Madeline, and I just never customized it. Because I customized one of the Kotobukiyas into Tempest forever ago, and it went really well, and I was like, well, I could do this now, and then... You look amazing as Wolfsbane. Please do that someday. I would love to. I would love to do a mix of, like, the movies and the Krakoa era outfit, because I feel like they kind of made the Krakoa Wolfsbane look a little bit like Maisie Williams. I just like when she has, like, the short red hair, and I love the classic, like, yellow and black looking suits. Okay, I think I'm caught up. Okay, I was watching New Mutants yesterday, and today I watched my favorite X-Men movie, Days of Future Past. I've only seen that one once. I don't remember being a huge fan of it, but I've heard lots of good things about it, and maybe I should give it another shot, because I think I've only seen that one in theaters. I think my favorite X-Men movie might be, oh god, that's so hard. Not counting New Mutants. I think it might be First Class, honestly. That or X-Men 2000. I really like X-Men 2000. I know it's not a good X-Men movie, but it's campy, and I love it. Wolfsbane, my Con Bessie, cosplayed her at SCCC. That would be so much fun! Yes! I love that. I was like the road cut of X-Men Days of Future. I haven't seen the original since the road cut. That's fair. I think I've only seen the original. I don't think I've ever seen... Oh, I didn't mean to type that. Sorry, I was trying to scroll. No, I'm excited though. I'm really excited to sit and revisit a costume that I really liked. Because back when I cosplayed it, I feel like not a whole lot of people got it. I got called Hellfire Jean a lot. But now that Maddie's kind of resurfacing in the comics, and now that she's going to be in X-Men 97, I was already thinking about bringing her back. So I'm really excited for this opportunity, and I'm really excited to get to be part of the con and to get to, I don't know, justice for Maddie, you know? I'm doing a brief AMA. That is what I'm up to. Don't know how long I'll stay on. Probably until questions slow down. But I just wanted to spend some time with you guys and answer some questions and hang out for a little bit. It's always good to get to spend time with people. Is it a huge mug, or am I very, very small? What a nice positive aura. Oh, thank you. I certainly try to bring positivity to the internet. There's a lot of negativity out there, so always try and bring a little joy. Thank you for extending your time with us. No problem at all. Like I said, like, it's evening. I don't have a lot going on. I'll spend some time and chat with you guys, you know what I mean? Answer questions, you know, get to meet people, get to know everyone, you know what I mean? I'm so excited for sophomore year. That's gonna be fun. I got excited to see an X-Men con even existed. I want to wear my Cable again. Do it! Oh my gosh, do it. We can get a photo as Cable and Maddie. That'll be fun. It's called Uncanny Experience. My newest post is linked with them. We were talking about it earlier over on their live stream. I'm just kind of wrapping up doing a little bit of an AMA because there's lots of questions that we couldn't get to, and I didn't want to hold up his whole night. So, yeah, definitely check it out. It's part convention, part kind of immersive experience. So as much as you want it to be a con, it can be. As much as you want to immerse yourself and feel like a student at Xavier's Mansion, you can. There's a good blend of everything, and it's really cool. It's a really cool X-Men community convention. I have questions on X-Men chicks. I mean, Emma, Domino, Jean, Mystique, Miss Sinister, Psylocke, lastly Magic. Yeah, I mean, that's a solid lineup. A lot of the girls are really cool. I also have crushes on them. That's why I have so many figures. You would make such a great Nami. I keep hearing that. And it like, I have never seen or read or watched One Piece. But I keep getting requested to do Nami. So I think I might check out the live action first since it's the shortest. And if I like it, maybe I'll dive the anime. But y'all are making me think maybe I should cosplay Nami. So I'll have to look into it. What about your Rosario cosplay? What about my Rosario cosplay? I love Genshin. That was actually my friend Tinkering Pixie's costume. I was going out to Denver last year and I wanted a snow costume, and a lot of my Genshin characters aren't cryo. So I decided my brain just short-circuited, I'm sorry. I decided to take Rosaria out there, and they kindly lent it to me, so I'll have to check out the live action. I've heard really, really good things about it. And the designs for it look really, really cute. Also, it's so good to see you. Thanks for popping by. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. It was a really fun costume. I'm debating if I want to take Eula out there this year, but I don't know if I will. I've already got a kind of full lineup of stuff I'm taking, so I'm behind on a lot of things because of Fortnite. The only thing I'm caught up on are Marvel movies and shows and DC movies. I'm woefully behind on Marvel shows. My friend is always up to date with them, and she's been messaging me like, did you finish this one? Did you finish this one? And I'm like, please, I haven't started. I'm so sorry. I'm so behind. But someday I'll catch up. I need to watch like all of What If, and I think there's another one I'm behind on. I think there's two. I forget the other one, but I need to catch up. I'm not. I'm very much so not. Echo, yes. I keep forgetting Echo's out already. Oh my god. But yeah, Echo. I've heard it's great so far. I just haven't watched it. I'm catching up on Percy Jackson hopefully tonight. I just finished Castlevania Nocturne, so I'm slowly knocking things off of my list to catch up and watch. But I got super behind on television, so... Do you have a favorite creature? Like a fantasy creature or like an animal? Who's your favorite X-Men villain? Ooh, either Mr. Sinister or Madeline Pryor. Which I don't know if that's predictable. And see, okay, the other one is makeup. I did get to that one. Okay. Sorry I missed that first one. I didn't realize there was a questions tab. That's really cool. Sorry. I haven't lived on here in, God, maybe a year or so. Some of these features are very new. Fantasy. Ooh, favorite fantasy character or creature. Probably either Selkies or owlbears. Owlbears are very distinctly D&D, but I think Selkies are maybe my favorite mythological creature. I think they're really cool. I have too many books about them. I think they're really neat. I feel like we've talked about a lot of things with the con and upcoming projects, so I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've got, but if you guys are out of questions, I might call it a night. I'll let it go a little longer. Yeah, Marvel chicks are pretty cool. I would say most of my action figure collection are girls. They have good designs, and they're really pretty, so I get it in the same way. I make nature videos that are haunted. Oh, that's really cool. Kind of like cryptid videos. That's neat. I think that is it for me tonight, though. It looks like the questions have kind of subdued, so thank you guys for spending time with me. I'm glad I was able to answer some more of your questions and to spend a little time with you tonight. Thank you for coming to both streams, some of you that popped over from the Uncanny stream. I'm very thankful for you guys. So yeah, until next time, maybe I'll try and stream here more if you guys like this, and we can just hang out and chat. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I hope you all have a fantastic night, and I will see you next time.